Okay, good morning everybody. Today is 9/29. Wow, it's almost October. 9/29. So, I wish I was zooming with you today, but I will definitely go over this lesson again on Thursday. But what we're going to do today is more factoring. It's called trinomial factoring. And what we're going to do today is undo problems like this. X plus 3 times x plus 4. So today's goal is to make our answers look like this. We want these to be our answers today. So we've done in the last week, so we actually did the multiplication with it, right? So last week we went x times x, x times 4, and we got x times x is x squared. I got a x times 4 and I got a positive 4x. I also then went and distributed the 3 times x, 3 times 4, and then 3 times x is a positive 3x, and 3 times 4 is a positive 12. We know we can combine these two middle terms because they're the same. So I can have an answer of x squared plus 7x plus 12. And that's my answer to multiplying it all out. Okay, that's my answer. Today, what we want to do is make this question have that answer. And it's called factoring, trinomial factoring. So what we're going to do is this. When I trinomial factor, when I see three terms, this is not common factoring. This is not, and I'll put it here, not common factoring, because there's nothing in common. X squared, 7x. I mean, they might have an x in common, but all three terms, you have to have something in common with all three. That's a 7, that's a 12. All three terms don't have anything in common at all. So what we do is a totally different type of factoring. So I know I'm going to start off with parentheses, 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 parentheses. Start off that, okay? Parentheses, 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 parentheses. Because I already know the answer, but let's say we don't, okay? So when I'm doing trinomial factoring, here's what I do. Here's where I started, okay? The only way I'm going to make an x squared is an x times an x. So start off this way. Get your parentheses, 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 okay? And then know that we're going to have to do x and x, okay? So then the next thing we do is right here have to be something that's going to make 12, okay? So I'm like, okay, what are the multiples of 12? Let's see, 12, 12, 12, 12. Well, obviously a 3 and a 4 would work, right? But so would a 2 and a 6, and so would a 1 times a 12, right? We, though, want the multiples of 12 that will add up to 7. I'm going to say this again. We want the multiples of 12 that will add up to 7. I'll say that again. We want the multiples of the last number that add up to the middle number. So obviously 3 and 4 is the combination I want, because 3 times 4 makes 12, and 3 plus 4 makes a 7. And we can check this because we know x times x, x squared, but we'll get a 4x and a 3x, right? We'll get a 4x if we multiply there, and a 3x if we multiply there, which makes my 7x. So this is the factored trinomial. Now somebody might say, well, Mr. Davies, can I go x plus 4, x plus 3? Yeah, same answer. Same answer. It really doesn't matter which one you pick, but the same answer, okay? Because you can multiply in any order. Okay, that's what I want, either one of these. Okay, I'll circle this one because that was the first one I put down. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Okay, example 2. Again, if it's trinomial factoring, there's nothing in common. I need an x squared, parentheses, 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 parentheses. Okay, just start right there. And then, again, the only way I'm going to make an x squared is with an x times an x. And the only way I'm going to make an 8, but it's a negative 8. It's a negative 8. So to make the multiples a negative 8, I'm going to use a positive 4 times a negative 2. Because when I multiply them, I will get a negative 8, but when I add them, I'll get a positive 2. So I want a positive 4 and a negative 2. Okay, let me just check this. X squared, yeah. Here gives me a negative 2x, positive 4x. Negative 2x, positive 4x, add up to my middle term of a 2x, okay? And then finally get my negative 8, okay? So that's going to be the factored term, okay? So if you want to check your middle two terms, you can just see it. I call it the double smiley. So I get my 4x, and my Landon calls it the upside down frowny, but that's okay, that's Landon. So I get my negative 2x, my positive 4x, which makes my middle term. All right, let's slide it up to example 3, okay? So start again, parentheses, 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 parentheses. Have to make an x squared, right? Have to make an x squared. Have to multiply to make an x squared, so x times x. And then, what are the multiples of 24? Well, there's lots of multiples of 24. But the one I like is 8 times negative 3. That's the combination I like because if I had an 8 plus a negative 3, it would make my middle term of 5. If I had my 8 plus my negative 3. So I'm going to go a positive 8 and a negative 3. X times x is my x squared. Let's check my double smiley to check that middle term. Negative 3x, positive 8x. Negative 3x, positive 8x does make my 5x, so this will multiply through to make x squared plus 5x minus 24. So this is my answer. Okay? Hopefully you're getting this. We're going to go over this again on Thursday, okay? In live class, okay? Kind of live. Okay, example 4. Same thing. Start off with parentheses, 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 right? I'm going to go x for my x squared. I need the multiples of a negative 4. What times what makes negative 4? I like, and hopefully you guys are going to shout it out, Mr. Davies, how about negative 4 and positive 1? I like that combination because when I add them, it'll make the negative 3. When I multiply them, it'll make the negative 4. So I can put down my negative 4 and my positive 1. Again, you can check by checking out your, I call it the double smiley, negative 4x, positive 1x, okay? And that should make my answer. Okay, I'm going to turn the page in a second, okay? Going, gone. Okay, now, example 5. Okay, so I'm going to go and change this one. What if I said I wanted it to equal 0? Change my question. So what I'm looking for now is zeros, right? Well, we talked about yesterday, if we're looking for zeros, we know that this problem has 2 answers. It has to have 2 answers. But to get the 2 answers, I need my many equations first. And to get my many equations, I need to factor. Okay, I need to factor. So, I'm going to factor first. Okay, so if I change the problem to equal 0, I'm looking for the zeros. I know because of x squared, I'm going to have 2 answers. If I factor, I'll get my many equations, and then I can solve. So, let's factor. X squared, x times x. Multiple is 9. I'm going to use a negative 9 and a positive 1. Because they'll multiply to make negative 9, and they will add. Oh, I made a mistake. How about a negative 9 and how about a positive 9, negative 1? See how I made a mistake? Uh-oh. Good thing I fixed my mistake. Positive 9, negative 1. You guys are probably all shouting at me, Mr. Davies, it's the other way around. Because that's going to make a positive 8. There we go. So how about a positive 9 and a negative 1? Whew. There's mistake number 1. So now I have these mini equations. Well, let's set them up. One mini equation is this x plus 9 equals 0. And the other mini equation is x minus 1 equals 0. And we'll just solve, and we'll get our zeros. Okay, minus 9, x equals negative 9. That was easy. Plus 1, x equals 1. Okay, that was easy. Okay, last but not least, let's look for zeros. Set it equal to 0, and let's find zeros, okay? So to find zeros, we need many equations. To get many equations, we need to factor. X times x, because x times x makes x squared, and then 3 and 3. But I'm going to use a negative 3 and another negative. Make them both negative, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. But if I add them, I get a negative 6. So negative 3 equals 0. So I factored. X times x is x squared. Negative 3x, another negative 3x makes it my negative 6x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. So now I've got my mini equations. X minus 3 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. Now this is kind of a weird thing because I told you always two answers. And it does actually mathematically give you two answers, but they're the same two answers. Okay, so you do get two answers. It's the same number twice, but it still is two answers. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. I will go over this again on Thursday with you so you guys get really good at factoring, okay? All right, that's all I have. Have a great day.